Welcome to Module 3 of the NetWaste Tool video tutorials. This is the third of 4 modules. Together, these modules demonstrate how to use the NetWaste tool from registration through to final reporting. Module 1 explains how to register as a user and set up a new project. Module 2 explains how to input your components into the tool. This module explains how to analyze a project. I will demonstrate using an example project. Module 4 explains adding guest users, generating reports, and editing project details. In this module we will cover how to reduce wastage rates and set waste reduction actions, how to set waste segregation and recovery options, how to increase recycled content, how to view your project performance, and how to add a waste forecast to the project's site waste management plan. If you wish, you can start using the tool while listening to this video. A workbook has been developed to help you do this. The workbook is available on the RAP website. You can print the workbook and follow along. I will indicate when you should pause this tutorial and refer to the workbook with this symbol. This module starts where Module 2 left off. You should view Module 2 if you want to understand how to access the tool and begin setting up a new project. Now that the tool understands the project specification, as covered in Module 2, it will apply wastage rates to each component that you have highlighted to estimate waste arisings by value, volume, and mass. This calculation forms the basis of the tool's analysis. It establishes a baseline waste performance for the project and a theoretical good practice level. This data will give you an understanding of the potential to reduce your project's waste impact. The next step is to review the potential to reduce wastage, also save on material costs, and work towards a good practice target. To do this, we select Set Waste Reduction Actions. This screen sets out the top results for each component to help you decide where to start reducing waste on the project. You can add information to the grid, including wastage rates and materials wasted at baseline and good practice. You can choose to view the results by value or mass. Let's stick with value for now, as this will show us the potential to save money. The grid shows components grouped by building element. This is set out in the same way as a bill of quantities. The substructure components are shown here. For this component, we can see the total quantity of materials purchased, the wastage rates, the value of waste at baseline and at good practice, and the improvement potential, i.e. the difference between baseline and good practice. The best way to use this screen is to scroll down, looking for the large improvement potentials in the green column. When you find a component where you would like to pursue the potential to save money, you can select Edit Actions for this component. In this pop-up, you can add actions that will be taken to reduce waste. Let's click on Action 1 and select an action. When you've chosen appropriate actions to reduce wastage for a component, you can enter a target wastage rate. This does not have to be as low as the good practice rate, but would ideally be lower than the baseline rate. I'll enter the good practice rate of 5%. If you found a way to use the waste materials on site, you can select Retain on site. The tool will still treat this as waste arisings, but it will remove this waste from the segregation strategy in the next step of analysis. Let's go back to the main screen. Now that we've set a good practice wastage rate for this component, you will notice the user-defined target wastage rate that I entered shows in this column. The reduction in this column now matches the improvement potential. By targeting the components with the biggest improvement potential and aiming to achieve good practice wastage rates, you can often significantly reduce the value of materials wasted. This is usually where the biggest financial gain can be achieved in a project. Let's return to the project homepage. When you set target wastage rates, these will automatically begin to influence your projected waste arisings, also your waste to landfill and cost of waste results. Now that the tool knows how we intend to reduce our waste arisings, it will then help us look at how we can segregate our waste, which will in turn lead to more recycling and recovery. So our next step is to look at how we can save on disposal costs by selecting a segregation strategy. Let's select Set Waste Segregation Options. This screen will help you understand the least cost strategy for waste disposal. It does this by looking at the type of waste streams and the number of skips that will provide the biggest cost saving. The tool calculates the amount of waste likely to be generated each month and looks at the types and numbers of containers that could be filled. The results are based on a number of assumptions and shouldn't be taken as gospel. However, the results are useful for those who want to develop a segregation strategy or would like some idea of skip numbers to inform their discussions with waste management contractors. It's important to provide the construction program when setting up your project if you want the tool to provide you with a segregation strategy over time. You can begin by reviewing the waste container sizes and disposal rates. This will make the results more bespoke to your project. Alternatively, you can skip this step and accept the tool's default assumptions for costs and sizes. You can also tell the tool whether you plan to return any wasted materials to the supplier. Then you can look at how the cost of disposal changes with the number of waste streams on site. This provides a useful guide to deciding on the numbers of skips to keep on site. Remember though, it's just a guide, and it will be more accurate if you have carefully selected your components and reviewed the container sizes and disposal rates. Use this pop-up to select how many waste streams you want to segregate on site. The cost for each number of waste streams is provided. You can make your choice based on cost or other considerations. For instance, you may only be able to accommodate 1 or 2 skips on site at any time. For this example, I'll choose 4 waste streams. When you've selected the number of waste streams to keep on site, the grid on the main screen highlights in yellow those waste streams that provide the best value for money. The tool will always select mixed waste as your first waste stream. You can select which other waste streams you want. Be aware that the skip numbers presented here are in whole numbers, whereas the calculations work in fractions. If you hover over the skip, the tool explains how full the last skip would be. You will notice different skips are suggested for different months. This is because different waste materials will be generated in different months. This project includes a large quantity of demolition waste in January. Let's move on to the next step. Now that the tool knows how you intend to segregate waste, it will look at your waste recovery options. Let's select Set Waste Recovery Options. This grid shows the potential improvement in waste recovery separately for each waste stream. The tool will assume a baseline or typical practice recovery rate, unless you change this. This information should be requested from your chosen waste management contractor, as the higher the recovery rate, the lower the waste sent to landfill. You can aim for good or best, or even better. You can set a target recovery rate by clicking here to select a destination. This pop-up allows you to select a disposal route for this waste stream and indicate your target recovery rate. If your waste management contractor has provided their rate, then it can be entered here for individual materials. The tool allows you to either edit each material type or specify a recovery rate for the waste stream. This will save time if you know that all the materials will achieve a set recovery rate. Let's set our recovery rate to 90%. Now we simply select Save and Close, and our new recovery rate will influence the waste to landfill figures. Let's return to the project homepage. That completes all the steps in the waste analysis for reducing and recovering your waste volumes. However, the tool also lets you look at ways to assess and increase the project's recycled content. To do this, you need to have added components in the Add and Edit Components tab, which is covered in Module 2. But you don't have to complete the waste analysis to look at recycled content. The recycled content figures are shown on the project homepage here. This shows the standard, good and projected recycled content for your project. Recycled content is the percentage of materials used in the project that are recycled. This is calculated based on the value of materials rather than weight or volume. For example, if a brick costs £1 and half the material used to make the brick is recycled waste clay, then that brick adds 50p worth of recycled content to the project. You can increase your project's recycled content by purchasing products that offer good practice levels. You don't need to change your project specification to increase recycled content. The standard practice recycled content figure is calculated using a dataset of standard practice recycled content rates for different specifications. The good practice recycled content figure is calculated using good practice rates. Good practice figures are based on products that contain high levels of recycled content but fall within the same price range as standard products. The projected recycled content figure is based on the improvements you choose to make. Let's click on Set Recycled Content Quick Wins and see how that works. This screen shows the top opportunities to increase the project's overall level of recycled content. You can show 5 or more quick wins. Each quick win relates to one of the components you have added to your project. This screen sets out the standard and good practice recycled content level for each component. The next column shows the potential additional recycled content we could add to the project as a whole by pursuing good practice recycled content just for this component. In this case, procuring plasterboard with recycled content of 84% adds 0.2% recycled content to the project. If you wish to pursue a high level of recycled content for a component, you can enter the target level of recycled content here. This could be the good practice level, higher or lower. You can access WRAP's Recycled Content Products Guide here to see a selection of manufacturers who have provided information on the recycled content of their products in order that you can contact them or challenge your preferred supplier to provide their recycled content or increase it. Click here to learn more about how recycled content is calculated. Down here you can add notes. For example, you could make a note of particular product options. When you've officially specified a high recycled content product, you can tick here to confirm actual use with your target level of recycled content. This can help you keep track of progress. That completes the main steps in the waste and recycled content analysis. You will notice the results of your analysis are displayed on the project homepage, including waste arisings by mass, waste to landfill by mass, recycled content, and cost of waste. This short report can be printed. It shows high-level results against baseline, good, and projected practice. You will notice in this instance that projected practice achieves reductions on the value of waste materials and the cost of waste disposal. This report also lists any recycled content quick wins you have selected and describes the project's performance against a number of KPIs, including tonnes of waste per 100k of construction value, potential reduction in carbon dioxide impact. If you need a tonnes per 100 square metre waste figure to inform your BREEAM targets, you can figure this out using the total projected waste arisings figure and comparing this with your total floor area. WRAP will soon be adding extracts for BREEAM on the project homepage, so keep an eye out for this. Let's go back to the project homepage and look at other reporting options. You can generate a more detailed report in Excel by clicking on Generate Reports. The spreadsheet download includes a detailed waste forecast at the component level. This can be added to your project site waste management plan. This screen provides several different reporting options. The most detailed report on wastage is the Project Waste Report. You can generate this report to include results by mass, volume or value. This report includes a detailed waste forecast at the component level. If you're interested in recycled content, you can generate a report that covers only recycled content and not waste. Now I'll show you exactly where to find results for your project site waste management plan. First we click here to download our Excel report. The Site Waste Management Plan Actions tab is where you'll find a list of actions taken to reduce wastage on the project. This information is taken from the actions you input through the Set Waste Reduction Action screen. This information can be included in your project Site Waste Management Plan. If you're using WRAP's Site Waste Management Plan template, you can easily copy and paste into that template as shown by the line here. The Site Waste Management Plan Forecast tab is where you'll find a detailed waste forecast that you can include in the project Site Waste Management Plan. This tab sets out details of each waste stream by material type, including the mass and volume of waste. This information can be copied and pasted into WRAP's Site Waste Management Plan template as shown by the line. That completes Module 3. We have covered how to reduce wastage rates and set waste reduction actions, how to set waste segregation and recovery options, how to increase recycled content, how to view your project performance, and how to add a waste forecast to the project Site Waste Management Plan. Now that you've seen Module 3, you may wish to watch Module 4, which demonstrates how to manage a project, including adding guest users, editing project details, and entering actual waste data. There are many other video tutorials available on the WRAP website, covering the suite of WRAP tools, including the Designing Out Waste tools for building and civil engineering, the Waste to Landfill reporting portal, WRAP's Site Waste Management Plan template and tracker, and WRAP's procurement guidance.